What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. We got a special guest with us today, Corey. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Corey is a
deja vu.
He's checked out.
What is happening?
yeah, I promise we're recording this time.
So we just did an entire episode, half of an episode, and somebody, ain't gonna say no names, forgot to hit the record button.
Let's see. Yeah.
It happens. You ever forget sometimes? I forgot.
I forget sometimes.
I forgot.
I forget.
It's
Is the
recording.
camera on this
I
time?
did push that little red button. Anywho,
You pushed that little red button too. I was
listen,
mistaken.
I did not, in fact, push that button. But I did now, so we're live. What's up, Corey? Corey's an import guy, right? I don't know too much about these imports. Tell these folks what you got, buddy.
93 Toyota Supra, right-hand drive, imported from Japan.
Where in Japan?
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki.
They make motorcycles.
They
there.
do. I had one.
That's so weird.
Here we go. It's actually funnier the second time.
So what you got done to this here Supra? I think you said what?
Nothing
you got
really. What engine you got in there?
That's UJZ.
2JZ, no sh**. Perfect. Worked out that time. Saw it coming.
No, fully built motor. I mean, every part of the car has pretty much been touched. I mean, at this point, I should have bought a roller. Engine, transmission, all the wiring harnesses in the car, ECU, everything's all brand new.
Yeah.
Single turbo, makes about 550, close to 600 horsepower in pump gas right now.
It's a lot of horsepower.
It was 450 on the last
No, he said
one that wasn't recording.
It was 550.
No. I was just kidding.
How big was that turbo? You said
It's 68 millimeter.
68 millimeters.
You said you should have brought a roller. I mean, like you knew what this was. Like everything wormholes. Builds like this, they start off as one thing and they all wormholes.
Let's go back to the beginning though. When you bought this car, you had it imported from Japan.
Yep.
I mean, did you think that you were just going to get it and
I knew I was
jump in
going to
it
do
and roll
something
out?
with it. I wanted to make it in my eyes, a proper Supra. When I first got it, it was a naturally aspirated 5-speed manual. Those have maybe 220 horsepower stock. It's still just as crazy, I mean, popularity-wise than it is now. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, even just driving down the road to go to the bank or something like that, there's kids hanging out windows with cell phones, oh my God, is that a Supra? Or,
No.
I can't go anywhere without somebody asking to take a picture of it, a video of it, whatever. Like I said, in my eyes, it's a proper Supra now. It makes all the correct noises. It's you pop the hood, it looks.
It's got that less is more feel to it. It's just nice monotone. You pop the hood and it's super clean. Everything looks. It doesn't look overdone, but it looks like like you said, every last part was touched. It's extremely clean.
And when did you get that car? How long ago?
2018.
2018.
25-year rule. It was August of 2018. Imported it 2 months later in October. Kind of a birthday present to myself.
Nice.
So
Nice, happy birthday.
How does one go about acquiring one from Japan, paying for it, making sure you get all the shipment set up, all that good jazz? How does that go?
Obviously, like I said, of course, need to make sure it's at least 25 years old, and that goes off the build plate or the build date.
Now, I know we talked about this a second ago, but why was there a 25-year ban? Doesn't make sense because the vehicles we have now have so much more horsepower. So the federals come in, they're like, we can't have the Supra, we can't have the, I don't know what else was banned. R34s.
Any of the K trucks.
Wow.
And why was that, Peyton?
Apparently, I looked it up. I was completely wrong. I actually don't know what the reason is.
Okay, good answer.
And I'm just gonna sit quietly in my truck.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Fair enough.
things like the Supra, I mean, were already legal here in the United States. It's just the right-hand drive variants obviously weren't.
Yeah, we had Supras, right?
Yeah.
Supras.
We had Supras from 93 to 98, whereas in Japan they had them from 93 all the way to 2002.
How many? Do you know how many were here? How many of that?
6.
Team.
I want to say around 10,000.
Is there
was
any
off.
difference from the 98 to 02s?
There's actually quite a bit. Like, believe it or not, the the later models had some of the newer features like, our modern day cars have, heated seats, power folding mirrors, all the stuff that you would never think of back in the 90s. They had them back on the late model, Supras. Like, there's stuff you would
Design-wise, it looked the same. It was just
I was about to ask,
nice,
other than the
nicer
right-hand drive,
options.
what was different from the Japanese model versus the American model?
options really. I mean, the American models, the target tops were common. Hard tops, or people like to call it slick tops, are not as common. Whereas in Japan, the right-hand drive versions, the target tops were rare and the hard tops were common. Don't get me wrong, I would love a target top just because we live in Florida.
Yeah.
Screws with the top off. But having the hard top, I mean, the car is significantly lighter. It's significantly more rigid.
I just
Want to go fast, cornering,
Can I
stuff
just
like
point
that.
something out that Brian never would have saved Vince if he had a hard top Supra?
That's true.
He had
true.
to pop that off
That's
and
true.
fly away. And,
Did you get overnight parts from Japan?
ooh, yeah.
I haven't had overnight any.
Good question.
I haven't had to overnight any, but
Yeah,
got
let's
plenty of
talk about the
parts
parts and the duration of the build time. I think the large majority of the build was waiting on parts. Like, how long was it? You had to wait for the set of head studs to come in.
year and a half. Good old COVID.
The main thing was COVID. Yeah, they didn't come in.
Yeah. It's a horrible time to build a car.
Yeah, I had to hear that.
As it turns
For
out.
the record, at the gym every morning, I had to hear that. Head studs come in?
No.
And a lot of cussing
Stop
following
making
that.
that. Stop talking about that.
Yeah. And then Biden started giving out the Biden bucks, and I wasn't originally intending to go as crazy as I did with the build, but
Did you use
started
that
giving
money?
out money and
Send it to Japan.
yeah.
Nice.
Stimulating the Japanese economy. I
Thanks,
like
Joe.
So
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for helping with that build. Do you feel like that car decimates all? No.
yeah. Yeah.
it. Nice.
After he put
I
about
like
15 grand into it.
That's what I hear. Nobody likes the tuner around here.
Even he's hitting it with the lines, man.
I like it. So that's badass, man. I learned that these are rear-wheel drive, not all-wheel drive. I, for some reason, thought they may have came in all-wheel drive.
The Nissans, the Skylines were.
That's the one.
Yeah, this is the year for the Skyline too. It's been progressing through this year where different models were becoming available.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple just popped up a couple months ago.
A couple basic ones at the beginning of the year, and then I think the GTR started.
Which I still,
available.
I need somebody to explain to me why would ban a car? Like, that doesn't make any
They just
sense to me.
drew a line in the
It's not that
sand.
they were banned, it's that they were never intended to come over here. They were never originally imported to America.
Yeah, but if I got money, do something I can't.
So were a lot of people. They come over.
There were ways around it. But I think if you dismantled the whole car and shipped it over as a kit car and
there's
things like that.
gray market cars out there. There were Skylines and R34s and stuff out
Yeah.
here in the United States 10, 15 years ago.
Ordered from the dark web.
You get a kidney. You get a kidney with it.
Oh, I got this.
glove box.
I got this R34 off Wish.
It's a Sentra.
If you have, you seen Corey's Supra, right? Where would that rate on your 1 through 10 cars? Would that be on 1 through 10?
That'd be like a 9 at least.
A 9?
Boner scale.
What the hell? You have a number 1 through 8?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like the GTR.
Like your favorite car, number 1. Second favorite car, number 2. Where would you rate the Supra?
Very good question, actually. I'm not sure.
That's why I asked it.
That's true. That's true.
Would you?
Think on that.
5, 6? What do you got above it?
It's at least a 9.
R34
Better be a-
definitely.
OBS.
R32 OBS.
R32 OBS.
He likes you, truck. Keep on. He actually gave you some liquid today to keep you around.
There you go. But speaking of Hearst purse, it finally happened in our neighborhood.
Sons of
It
bitches.
You have a
happens.
button like a dun,
That
dun,
happened.
dun.
I don't know.
Can't believe it happened
I-
here.
That's not.
That, hey, they're clowns, so that works.
They
It
are
works for me.
clowns.
Hey.
The takeover
Ooh,
took place in
they did.
A
Northport.
takeover in
They
Northport.
came to our town. They screwed up some intersections.
Have y'all driven through that intersection?
Yes.
It is decimated. Like,
Yeah.
What,
Daddy's
just like
tires
just the
are all
blacktop,
over.
or like other things around it?
oh, well, this is blacktop mainly. It's all tore up. Can't see any lines because there's.
Wow, that bad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. They were out there for a hot minute.
yeah.
Sadly, nobody got yeeted.
Nobody.
What is a takeover? Maybe our listeners, they don't know what a takeover is.
Yeah, let's see.
What is
the
a
definition
takeover?
of a takeover?
Some jabroni ass kids show up with daddy's car and
Like in Supras?
not so much Supras.
Yeah.
It seems to be the Dodges, the Challengers, And
Chargers, some trucks.
did I
sometimes.
see
Mustangs and an Ultima.
in our video? I thought I saw either a Crown Vic or a Grand
It
Marquis.
was a Crown Vic, yeah.
It was a
Somebody was on their way back from bingo and they just got lost. Like, you know what? Send it, Tammy. All right.
And it looked like he was just normal traffic
That was
and
regular
saw it and
traffic.
said,
It
you
is
know what?
regular.
boys.
I've decided this is a good idea.
This is regular
And
ass
joined in.
traffic.
peer pressure.
So yeah, but they just do burnouts and donuts and they take out crowds for
Usually,
some,
yeah, usually
they hang out
bowl
windows
crowds,
and-
yeah.
the Dodge drivers are like, you know what, Mustangs, sit back. You've been doing this for years. Let us take out the crowds for a while,
Yeah.
How
Dude,
it's done.
they
proper.
and they launch people. Let me show you how to launch somebody.
dude.
Yeah.
Full send. They
Yeah.
send. You see shoes. You see pants.
Underwear.
Pants.
Everything.
So
knocked
I
out
think
of
a
their
couple of them I
pants.
saw soul
Yeah, oh, yeah.
exits.
Oh, yeah.
We got to slow it. I believe I can fly.
You could almost sing the whole verse for as far as they fly. It's
You can.
it's
You can.
unbelievable.
And
I've
you got
never
a-
seen
and
so
you got
many
a
people-
man-sized dent in your quarter panel.
I've never seen so many people do somersaults and cartwheels on blacktop.
It's
Right?
fantastic.
It's,
Fantastic.
It's great to watch.
oh, yeah.
Now, I'm all for that. Like, how old were you when you learned to look both ways before you cross the street?
Oh gosh, I mean, not to get hit by a car, probably 8.
Dean,
Very young age.
right? Will
Yeah, pretty young, buddy. I'm going to say
now,
like 3.
Common
now we
sense.
add in the fact that these cars are driving recklessly,
Ooh, we should
and they're like, "Oh fuck it, I'm gonna run towards that car and
let's
see what
go towards
happens."
them.
And then they get mad when the car takes them out.
Yeah. So one guy started shooting
After
at
they
it.
come to.
One guy got hit, pulled a gun, started shooting at the car.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Lot
But go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I see a lot of videos on YouTube where guns are involved. and
Yeah.
kids hanging out of
And
windows.
there were complaints of this one that there were kids with guns on the intersections, kind of hanging out, doing their
It was
thing.
fantastic.
So but I put one in the group chat. Y'all just watched it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Hands down.
I'm gonna snip in our reaction to said video. It's pretty good.
Stop, drop, and roll.
It's the best one. I am all for taking the warning labels off of shit and letting Darwinism take its place. And this is the perfect.
natural selection at its finest.
So in this video that I'm referring to, we had they put some kind of flammable
It looked like
substance.
gasoline.
in the center, and they're doing the donuts around it, and it's a truck. And as the truck's doing the donuts,
What kind of truck?
I think it was a Chevy, an
I
old
was
Chevy.
going to say, it looked like a
Like an
Dodge.
OBS.
Looked like a Dodge.
It could have been a Dodge. Could have been. Whatever it was, it's awful.
No. If I can somehow link that video in, I will.
He clips the flammable substance and throws it about 5 or 6 feet, and the crowd says, "Let's get closer to this. This is
getting
so
good."
cool."
Yeah.
So on the next pass, homeboy drives right through the flammable substance and shoots it all over the crowd. And then you see all these little kids on fire running everywhere.
Just flings fire.
Just flings fire like a
lays
dragon,
waste.
if you will.
Running matchsticks, as you put it.
And you hear best friends, obviously, stop, drop, and roll, pussy.
Followed by, oh my God. Oh my God.
It's the best. So
Yeah. So these kids,
These games are just getting stepped up.
Oh, my
every
goodness.
time.
I genuinely hope these people don't come back. From what I understand, they weren't from here.
no, they're all Tampa, Fort Myers. It's
Peyton, how many of your friends got hurt?
This happened at like 1:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah, it was pretty early in the morning, from what I understand. So, but that being said, like that stupidity completely affects all custom cars.
All of us.
Yeah,
Because you
100%.
think
Yeah,
about
jokes
that,
aside.
you have all these people pulling guns, people getting hurt, tearing up the intersections, like that. What was that dude's name on Facebook? What was he? Does anybody remember his name? He was just trying to go home.
Oh, the guy.
Oh,
the guy,
yeah.
The guy who recorded the video.
Yeah, he was hysterical.
Like he's just trying to go home, and these idiots shut the road down, so you're stuck there while they do their thing.
Yep.
But now cops see 5-10 cars cruising, they're like, "Oh, are these guys going to go do that?" And all of a sudden, you got a target on your back because of these yahoos out here murking each
It's
other.
no different than, I'll say any bikes really, but it seems to be more like a crotch rock. It's doing,
Yep.
and taking over, streets, and then, just so anybody, then you got dirt bikes and you got quads doing all this. So then anybody with a bike,
Yeah, the stunt guys.
all the stunt, and the stupidity. And it's just like, so anybody on a bike, now you're instantly if you're younger and you're on a bike, nice bike, you're looked at differently, like another idiot on a bike.
Yeah.
Because everybody's doing wheelies and traffic, but, blocking traffic and getting dumped and tossed off their bikes and stuff. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It gives everybody a bad rap.
I mentioned it earlier. I personally believe that all these manufacturers have made horsepower too accessible to everyone, to kids. Like, I mean, I hate to say it because nobody wants a slow or weak car or whatever, blah blah blah. But when like you said, when you got a Toyota Camry coming out with over 300 horsepower, granted it's front wheel drive, whatever, but even still, a V6 Camaro, for example, that's over 300 horsepower.
When we were as kids, that was a sports car with a heavy heavy payment,
like,
and you had to buy the sports car. Now it's like you just go buy your basic ass vehicle, and it's got
any kid
$350.
with enough gumption is gonna slide that car.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
They just don't need trays to do it.
Yeah.
right.
Now you got these
You know, these
inexperienced kids literally out here driving like this and taking out. I don't know how many. I almost want to do some research to see how many people actually died at these takeovers, because you can't tell me the way that these kids are getting hit that everybody's walking away perfectly good.
There's got to be at least a death.
the yeet to death ratio.
Like, see, we're gonna look at our yeet to death. Our yeet to death graph.
We're gonna have to fuck around and find out chart.
The more you eat, the more you die.
He was at about a 7 yeet. He's at about a 9 death. And after the Ultima ran over his head, he actually went right up to 10.
But yeah, man, it's it was an unfortunate event that happened here.
Yeah, but you can.
Felix Get Right Jordan was the guy's name.
Oh, he's so funny.
Fantastic name,
It's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
He was like, he did an interview the next day, and he's like, it was scary and aggravating and exciting all at the same time. He was very excited about it.
Sounds like sex.
Yeah, it may have been. Yeah.
He was funny. He said them kids were out there burning up their daddy's tires.
Them tires cost money, boy.
You ain't wrong.
My personal favorite is when you see just a little sprinkle in. Every once in a while, you see like a U-Haul, or like somebody rented something from Home Depot.
$20
$19.95. All of a sudden, that's just out there just going.
The Lowe's truck just spinning
Lowe's
around.
truck. They rented it for the night, and
man.
there's 6 of them in the bed, and they're just doing donuts.
Well, if y'all haven't seen the videos yet, just go on to TikTok,
Do
Instagram.
yourself a favor.
Yeah.
You'll see
YouTube,
cars hitting
yeah,
curbs,
YouTube.
blowing the tires off of them.
Blowing,
just search-
blowing
just search-
axles clear off the back of the
just
car.
destroyed.
Yeah. Just search takeover. Just search takeovers. And, I assure you, they will pop up.
Kids, they're sitting in the windows, on the windowsill.
Takeover
while they're doing
fails.
that.
Fails.
Takeover fails. Oh, those
Way
are the
to
best.
go.
Yeah.
My favorite. Oh, another one. They get sucked out of the window, and then they get run over.
Then they get ran over.
those
Yeah.
are
They don't
good
just
too.
get yeeted, as Corey put so delicately. They get sucked under the tire.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it like slows down a little bit and does full burnout on them.
On them.
Yeah.
And then, so it's there's skin and flesh just going. Nah, I quit.
Why as the eat scale raises, the death is
Indeed.
also.
That puts it at about an 8.
Indeed.
Oh, it's funny because adrenaline is a fantastic thing. So these kids get
So is
clipped
gasoline.
by a 4,000-pound charger, and they get up and start running away, and you see their legs are all. They take 2 steps and like, what's that? Oh no!
They look like a running praying mantis.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's
Show up
something
home.
else.
What happened to you? Nothing. I'm okay. I'm
How's
gonna go to bed.
How's the car meet, baby?
Oh man.
I'm a
Corey, I
little
hope,
fucked up, but
I
I
hope
had
you
fun.
never take your Supra to a takeover, buddy.
No, don't do that.
It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
Gosh.
You're gonna have a bad
You're gonna have a bad time.
Have you taken it to any? Because we have a lot of those little import meets around town. Have you been to any of them yet?
I've been to a lot of the cars and coffee in the area
Cars and coffee. Been up to the UTC
Very,
one.
very adult of
quite a
you.
few times.
Yep.
Very adult.
That's the only one I haven't been to yet.
It's huge.
Yeah, this one last
They
week.
got
one of the ones.
They got fancy cars up there.
He's
so I've
he's
told.
been
Well, no,
in
it's
his defense.
nice.
He's been trying to get me up there to check some of the stuff out.
UTC is nice because they have everything from your $2,500 shit box all the way up to your $2.5 million Bugatti.
We'll be
I'm
bringing,
on the lower end of that.
we'll
Still.
be bringing the $2,500 shit box. Peyton Wave. Not a boy.
So it's this last weekend was the biggest one that they ever had.
Jeez, it's like it's every time. It just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, it was
Well,
good.
the snowbirds.
How many?
Snowbirds are coming back down.
I want to say there was over 400 cars.
400 cars.
To the point where
Did you say snowbirds coming back down? You mean moving here?
No. When they come back, you see a big uptick in local cars and coffees like ours will be super busy in the next month or two.
Yeah, you'll see a lot more,
A lot of those
classic
snowbirds.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Corvettes.
Snowbirds in Sarasota, you're going to see those
You're going to see a lot more
Ferraris,
New Balance
Lambos.
and jean shorts.
Yep.
100%.
Everybody. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of Porsches.
Porsches and vets,
One
baby.
of a kind Corvettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
Corvettes,
3,754 made that hour on that day.
Yeah, but
When it was
none
raining.
of them have their valve covers spray painted the same as the next.
No.
So it's very
Coming to
classic.
the Northport one.
I've been to that one once, so that was the first outing with the Supras.
When is
the
next
one?
one?
Cocoa Plum.
That was one I couldn't make. Yeah.
It's always the first Sunday of the month. So I think it's the third.
This last one
December.
was amazing with the weather.
I can make it to the January one.
December's going to be
Wasn't
good.
hot.
I can make it to the
Beautiful.
January one.
Nice sun.
We
I
miss
don't
you at
know.
breakfast.
I don't know how policed the one at Cocoa Plum is. If it's like the one up at UTC, but I do know, like you guys are talking about with the takeovers and people doing burnouts and all that stuff. It's heavily policed up there at UTC.
I can understand that.
Anybody-
Down here,
It's not terrible.
there's not really any messing around down
keep-
here.
One or two cops over there.
They
Right?
have one officer that does a detail there, and he just kind of hangs out up by the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're-
there's like
Every once in a while, you see somebody roll through, say hi to the crowd.
there's like at least 6 or 7 county cops up there at UTC.
That
and,
makes sense.
You know, they don't tolerate. You know, you do a burnout, you're no longer welcome.
Yeah.
People pull out of the Cocoa Plum
Pretty
pretty
aggressive.
aggressively all the time.
Yeah, there is that, but
You
there's
have
not
to.
as far as takeovers.
must.
There's not that, but you'll see people leave pretty aggressive. To which nobody is impressed, by the way.
We seen it. It's got a big motor.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Some of them
loud.
just have a lot of noise.
That's because they're putting 4-inch exhausts on 6 cylinders.
But it's cool. I haven't seen it up close. I'm excited to see it up
We'll
close.
put, what, his car?
Yeah.
I'll have to put some pictures up of that.
So I haven't seen it in person, but I saw Corey at Cars and Coffee in Sarasota, and he says, I'm parked over there. But it was like the back 9, and we had already been over there. I'm like, man, I can't walk back over
I'll take. a
Okay.
picture of that
You're looking at him like, I bet it looks really nice.
there. He's like, it's right over there. I'm like, that's cool, man.
I bet it looks really
Cool, man.
nice.
Good to see you.
But other than that, we
started
got
painting
coming on? Yeah,
truck,
we started painting his truck here.
The next build.
Yeah, we got it over here.
Phase
from
2, right?
Dean's shop. We got the bed off.
You got
back
all
and front.
the heavy fabrication and
Heavy
welding.
fab is done
taken care of.
at the first shop. Got all the meat and potato in the back, basically. You got
Now
your
it's time for the stuffing.
link
and the
system,
gravy.
your
Stuff it
step
in the-
notch, all that
the
stuff's
corn.
handled. Yep. Now
The work.
oil.
the tedious
Tedious
stuff.
stuff.
Well, yeah, all work arguably, but tedious stuff. You know, you're
Tedious
running your plumbing, mounting. You know where you're going to put your decide where you're going to mount your tank, your compressors, all that stuff. You know, properly mount the switches, all that fun stuff.
I'm just glad the
I'm
4
excited.
hours
This
of
running a
grinding is over.
manifold on this one. So I'm always used to running the old style valves, you know,
Oh, yeah.
in line and stuff,
Yeah,
doing all the plumbing and everything. Now it's just a bloop, nice little clean manifold, plug and play.
Where are we
Like,
putting that manifold at? Where's it going to go? We decided yet?
I would suggest it's obviously either in the cab or it's in the bed where it's out of the elements because he has a tonneau cover.
Yeah.
So
You guys
somewhere
are-
where there's no elements really hitting it.
We're going to need to make that decision where the compressors are going, where the tank's going, where the valves are going. Because
Front of the bed for, like front interior of the bed for the tank and compressors. As far as the manifold is concerned, I mean,
it should probably be in there as well.
it should probably be in there as well. Like I said, it's out of the elements. I mean, it's got a tonneau cover. It's, you know, fully capped off. They're made for exterior, but you know, ideally you try to get those main components, crucial components out of the elements.
Did you get any brackets with your compressors or no?
No.
No. We do anything? We just bolt them to the bed.
I think we're possibly going to make a display plate for the compressors and
I couldn't get over with those new compressors. I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've seen some air compressors. Back when I was in air ride, I think the 380s were the ones that just came out.
yeah. Now they got 485C is what he's got. 2 of
Yeah,
those
and
for a 5-gallon tank.
Heads on the compressors, the lines. I mean, everything is completely different than what I remember.
Yep, fins on it. Now they got a real heavy, top head on them. You know, and a lot of heat displacement for the fins on it. It's pretty, and they look trick.
Yeah.
They look nice.
Well, since you're talking about compressor stuff, let's go back. Like, you've been around the scene for a hot minute. Other than the Supra that we just talked about, what else have you had? I know a lot of Isuzus.
As I say, still mainly imports. 3 or 4 Isuzus, 3 or 4 Toyota pickups. I've dabbled a little bit in the American stuff. You know, I've had GMC Sierras. I've had, I'll admit my first car ever was a Ford Escort GT.
Nice.
Get out.
Nice. Fantastic.
So it,
you have a system in that car?
Lost his virginity in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those
was back in the day.
I do know this. Those Escort those Cosworth Escorts. Those
Now-
are pretty cool.
It's a different world.
When you're talking Escort, are you talking like the old boxy ones that used to catch fire, or the newer rounded ones?
What year was that GT?
That caught
Okay.
less
Year was
fire.
91.
91. It's a good solid year.
So the old boxy ones, I don't know if you remember those, like the 80s, and
Yeah.
they used to catch fire like
Those were
regularly.
That's the one I'm talking like the Cosworth Escorts. Those
Yeah.
are cool.
so
was
bad.
it
If
the
you can find one that's not
Mercury-
burn up.
The Mercury Lynx was also
Yeah.
the.
Yep.
It was a turbo 4-cylinder, just like the Cosworth was.
Yeah, nice.
So you've been around. You've settled on Supras.
Yeah, I like Japanese cars.
Yeah.
Used to work in a stereo shop back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, you're a big
Back,
stereo guy. I remember the big
yeah.
stereo you had in that Jeep was pretty gnarly.
One of my Isuzus had a pretty crazy blow through.
Yeah.
This was back before everybody was using slot ports and, even just ported boxes in general. This was back in probably 2001, 2002, right around Fast and Furious came out.
Careful, you're gonna date yourself.
Yeah.
man.
I know.
We're all old.
Yeah.
But back
We all
then-
have gray hairs.
When no one had gray hairs.
100%.
Seen
back
that
then
Supra
was
in that
running-
movie?
Back then was running, 10 cubic foot box for 212s. I mean, it would move some air.
Yeah.
And again, that was, over 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's
Was
awesome,
it
man.
Greg? Was he the owner of the shop?
Yeah.
He was all right. I liked him. Hooked me up with those 8-inch subs for the Isuzu, the image dynamic ones.
Yeah, the custom made image dynamic.
Oof. Those things were nasty, dude. Custom made for the Isuzu. Had a oversized spider. And those things, they sounded like 12s. They were nasty.
And
You
they
have
were
those
free.
behind
love
your
those
seat or
Yeah.
behind your seat?
Behind the seat, they were in a little V
Big
box.
bastard.
Bro,
In a
it
little
was
Isuzu?
nasty. So. IDQ.
Anyway,
Is that about it?
that about does it for today's episode.
Supers and takeovers.
Supers and
Supers
takeovers.
and takeovers.
Takeover.
One of which is a bad time. I'll let you guys be
Wait,
the judge.
wait.
Well,
One of which is a bad time.
Arguably.
Trent, can you pull up that text
Yeah. Let me
From
pull up that text
Corey?
real quick.
Arguably.
about this lovely car that he's been so delicately
talking about
restoring and
Beautiful
Bad time.
Supra.
customizing?
I think this was because of the exhaust, was it not?
Yeah.
How much?
Was
I
the
don't know if you want to talk
that was
about
the-
how much your
What was
exhaust
that?
cost.
Yeah. What was that lovely sentence
How
he
much
ran
was
by
that
you?
exhaust? Care to say?
Just the titanium portion of it, which goes from about the mid-car back, was $1,200,
This is just an open pipe, right? 4-inch open pipe.
pretty much.
No resonators, no.
No resonators, no
I
cabs.
make something like that from AutoZone.
no
get
back
a couple
pressure.
of them
No back
turnouts.
pressure.
So
How was that sentence?
May 24th. In
Of
the
this
year of our
year?
Lord 2023.
Oh, that's
A couple months back.
well, that's a good one. That's only a few months ago.
You want a Supra? Question mark.
Oh.
I'm about ready to push this bitch out of the garage and have a bonfire.
I think we've all been there.
We have.
We've all been
We
there.
have 100%
We've all
all
built
been
a
there.
lot of different cars.
Dean actually tried to start a bonfire.
Yeah, or catch it on,
Yeah,
catch it on fire.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's
You
true.
want to tell that story about Peyton's truck?
Yeah, let's get into it. Why not? I'm gonna live this for the rest of my life.
You got a scar on your arm
So-
too because of the.
Yeah, I got burned.
If that fire would have got on that beard,
So
you really
we
would've
were,
been in trouble.
yeah, well, mistakes
He'd
were
come
made.
in like this, like a
Mistakes
half-ass
were
candy
made.
wapper.
Eyebrow
It's a perfect sweep from the cab corner. So his driver's side cab corner had a little cancer hole in it, so we got a stamped replacement corner. I cut it out. When you cut these panels out and everything like that, usually what's behind them from the factory, you've got your glue, some bonding glue sometimes, and you've got usually foam or some type of
Jute.
jute or usually foam, some type of expand foam.
Something
that-
flammable.
Something very flammable that stops. It helps hush the road noise and stuff like that. It helps dampen and also panels rubbing against each other and making noise. So you try to clear out as much of that as possible, and I got as much as I thought I could out of there. So now, fast forward, grafting on the new corner, trimmed it up, TIG welding it up. The
We'll put
last
some pictures
step-
up here so we can see
Yeah, I'll
the
put some
work in
pictures
progress.
up. Yeah, got some nice work.
You were
work
alone
in
that day
progress.
too, right? You were alone.
I
Usually there's a bunch
I
of
was
us, but you were
alone on that day.
All by myself.
Yeah, but the fire joined me. So got that welded up. The last thing to do, like I got the seam welded up. The last thing to do was all the spot welds. So I'm kicking up the heat a bit to get the spot welds small but good heat penetration. And I'm welding down here. Let's just say this is the bottom of the cap corner. And up here, where my forearm is leaning, gets a little spicy. And I look over, and I'm already blistering on my forearm, and the paint is starting to brown and flake off. And mind you, this is about 1.5 feet from where I'm welding. I'm like, what, pray tell, is that? So I ripped his door open.
What is happening?
Ripped his door open. Oh, what a clatter. I grabbed the interior body panel, which was in that area, and I ripped it open, and there was about 3 foot of flame running up to almost the back of the headliner. So my genius idea, I'm going to try to blow it out one time.
Pee on it.
What does what does oxygen do to fire?
It feeds it.
Feeds it. Okay, just check.
Like in Boy Scouts.
I
you see that,
started
right?
off with mistakes were
Start a
made.
fire.
So I don't want to use one of my fire extinguishers because then I got to get a new one. So I said, I'm going to give this one shot.
Is
And I
that
went,
hold on. Is that the thought that went through your mind as Dave's truck is burning to the ground? I don't want to use my fire extinguisher.
We have
so
a
now I have to get
93
new one.
OBS or an extinguisher.
Wait.
Or I got to go to
Do you
the
want
hardware store and
honesty?
get
Do you want honesty?
Yeah, if that ran through your mind, you're like, shit.
Yes. I said, shit, if I use this fire extinguisher, I got to spend more money and get another one. So as I was saying that, I was doing this. And I went, and it said, no.
Came back at you.
You blew it across the truck.
So I said, I literally gave it one good poof
Now it's
and
a-
poof.
it's a
And I
4-foot
said,
flame.
shit, shut the door, grabbed the fire extinguisher, came back over, smashed it down in there, oof. And the entire shop and truck just went, white powder. Like that. So
First thought,
you know,
shit,
I've got
I
a
gotta
blister.
get a new one.
Got my forearm, good and burn. Cab corner, side note, silver lining, looks chef, clean, delicious.
But above it,
But above it, it's a little, the paint needs touch up.
Nobody's going to
Thanks.
see the inside of those panels.
it's the toasted marshmallow
But
color. It's beautiful.
yeah, the takeaway here is forego the thought of what it costs for a fire extinguisher and just grab it.
Just grab it.
Just grab it.
Don't.
Maybe not.
No, because it wasn't. I'm like, if I give it one really good one, maybe I'll put it out. And I went oxygen. And it said, thank you. And I went, ooh.
Learn something new.
Unfortunately, we do not have that. The one thing I do not have on a time lapse. But don't worry, this crew will make sure I live it for the rest of my.
100%.
That's what we're here for. Guaranteed. That's what we're here for.
So that's a takeaway. Cab corner looks great. Can't wait to show some pics. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Thanks for joining us today with the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. We'll catch you on the next one.